show. I'm your host, the infamous Orion, and I'm a Schmo.
And I'm Cairo, and I'm also a Schmo.
Fascinating, fascinating. And when did you choose this lifestyle?
Oh god, has it been 10 years now? No, it hasn't been yet.
No, we were close though. Because we did this.
That's gonna be a day. Oh my god. Yeah.
Before the show, everybody, we were talking about the feeling of being old. And now we just
that's doing it.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. You know, speaking of being old, did you know WOCR had its 50th anniversary while we were gone?
Wow. That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Man.
It hurt. It hurt right there. A little bit of history of the show. Did we do this like our sophomore year? Or was it like our late sophomore year?
No, I think it was in our freshman year towards the end.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure. I can double check because I still have my old laptop that I was using then, and I should have my playlists that I was doing on my own show still that were dated. And I know we started doing this the same year I started doing my own stuff.
Oh shit.
So I can double check that.
The first beta version of this show that we did back in WOCR, because we had to fill in somebody's slot, and we talked about it in this format. So we used that fill in the slot to what's the word I'm looking for? To test out what would be the show. That's weird. Oh my god. I'm gonna go.
It's very weird.
Real quick so I can leave a nice place.
Yeah, I'm gonna go crawl back under a rock somewhere and try to forget that.
For another 2 weeks, everybody.
Yeah, we're old now. We get to do these things.
Well, you've been in the business as long as I have.
I was actually curious to see, like, timeline-wise, whether or not when we started, if that was before or after the every podcast is two white guys kind of meme started.
I want to say it was a little bit before, because
I think it was, because I'm pretty sure that really happened during, like, COVID, when all the white people didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, which is ironically when we were on break, because we were just getting out of college and we had to set up our adult lives.
Yeah.
We had also legitimate backing. We were on a fucking FCC regulated station, so
we were legit. We weren't just a podcast.
Yeah. So I guess the real question is, have we been doing this as long as Donald Trump's been in the fucking presidential circuit?
That's interesting. We definitely would have done it after he was started to run.
Yeah.
I think we probably would have just been starting out during, like, primaries.
That sounds right.
I think.
Sweet fucking Jesus. Remember when Donnie would just do shit and we were like, oh, this is so unprecedented. But now it's like just flavor of the fucking week. Oh, we're so old. We were around when before everyone hated Elon.
Yeah. We were haters before it was cool.
I think we were like cautiously like pessimistic at first. Thank you.
I guess the worst of it kind of happened over COVID. That broke a lot of people, didn't it?
Dude, the world has not been the same since COVID. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Yeah, it really hasn't been.
Everybody's been terminally online. Everybody's been shitty to each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's grifters everywhere. People are just...
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I get it. We have internet addiction now. It was the perfect time to set up an internet addiction, but holy fuck, we need to go outside more. Oh my god. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just grappling with my own mortality real quick.
Okay. Everyone deserves a minute for that.
Oh my god. Okay. I think I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So the government's shut down.
Never mind.
I did hear, I think, for totally not surprising. This is like, I think this is probably my favorite statistic of October, at least so far, as a measure of just how, not like, because obviously a lot of the people in power right now are pretty evil. I think it's fair to talk about that. You have like Stephen Miller, right? Like, yeah. Actual Nazis. You have Hegseth, who has actual like German Reich tattoos kind of shit. But it's important to remember also that they're very bad at their jobs. At a very high level, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to do what they're doing. And time and time again, they have had people try to help them, right? Like the last thing that Obama tried to do before he left office was sit down with Trump and basically tell him how to run a government. And he got completely snubbed trying to do that. Big shock. But if the government shutdown lasts until October 15th, so that's 3 more days, the Trump administrations will have been responsible for half of all government shutdowns. Half of all days that the government has been shut down will have been under Trump.
We've still got 3 more years, my friend. We can still...
I know. Oh, yeah. I fully expect it will go over that, but over the 250 years that America has had a government, there have been 50 days amongst all other presidents that the government has not been open for any number of reasons. And we are currently on day 47, just of Trump.
And people voted for this shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did this last time. People just, nobody remembers anything anymore. I think that's the biggest problem of how fried everyone's brains have been by social media and COVID is that nobody remembers anything. More than half of his government shutdown days were in his last term because he sucked at doing government then, too. He doesn't know how to pass laws. He doesn't know how to build coalitions. He doesn't know how to do anything. And then government federal workers and people who need the things that those government workers provide are the ones getting hurt. And they just forget about it. We have soldiers in literal fucking breadlines right now because they're not getting paid. Military it's fucking embarrassing. I don't remember. Did we were able to talk about what actually happened from? I don't think we did with Hegseth bringing all the generals together.
I think we talked about it, but we didn't say anything about like what it was about.
No, I don't think we did. I think we talked that it was happening, but it happened after our last show. So, just to recap, Hegseth, our Secretary of War, because he needs an aggressive title to not feel like his penis is so small, apparently.
I'll still call it out.
At very short notice, sent out a message to literally all of the generals of the U.S. Army and Navy and Air Force, along with their like second in command equivalent across all the branches, and ordered them 100% of them, literally all of them, to come to Quantico, Virginia for something. Nobody knew what it was. Only thing that we knew was that this message went out to everyone, and nobody knew what the hell was going to happen. And the speculation was pretty rampant in the days leading up to this, because it was announced on like a Thursday, and this event was the following Tuesday. So we had the full weekend to really stew on it. And the talk was like, are they going to make all of the generals swear new oaths all at once? Is it going to be, you know, what awful mastermind scheme are they going to do to undermine the branches of our government further? And it turns out it was none of those. And it's genuinely staggering that they thought this was going to be a good idea. Hegseth ordered all of the generals to leave their carrier groups, to leave their foreign military bases, to leave anywhere in the world that they were, regardless of what they were doing. He ordered them back to Virginia so he could give a speech to them about physical health and readiness, and how there's not going to be any more woke and DEI in the military.
Dude, he did that just for the headlines. He did it just for the fucking headlines.
It is pathetic. And they had Trump out there too to give his what I guess is turning into his stump speech, which is really fucking weird because he keeps doing this tariff shelf thing, right? He keeps saying, "Oh, they look at the tariff shelf. Oh, look at all this money." It's clearly he has a speech that he has practiced, and that's all that he can really remember at this point, because he keeps saying the same fucking thing over and over and over again, and it's dumb, and it stands out because he keeps saying the stupid tariff shelf anecdote that's fake. But he had Trump go out and do the same thing during this. And Trump started his by basically telling all of the generals that, you know, you can applaud, you can clap, you can, you know, get excited. And none of them did, because they're fucking 5-star, 4-star generals in the goddamn military. And they're not going to do that because they have decorum, even if they do agree with you. And thankfully, they did just sit there and listen to the bullshit. And there wasn't anything nefarious past it being just like them trying to scare their generals. That was basically just it. They're trying to scare their generals into being like, oh, you step out of line, we're going to fire you. That was the gist of it. It could have been an email. But in the aftermath of it, one of the most remarkable things that I saw was that there was a reporter from, I don't remember if they report for like the Times or the Wall Street Journal as like a columnist or something, but it was a very major publication. And they reached out both in private to all of the military people who they already have existing contacts to, who were present at that, as well as publicly asking for anybody who wanted to anonymously give them an interview or even just a quote for their thoughts on that speech. And in their words, they were not able to find a single person who was in that room that had a positive thing to say. So
when they lose the next if we're going to get another January 6th, when do you think that's going to happen?
A January 6th. What do you mean by that? Just like citizens who are pro-Trump trying to do an insurrection kind of thing?
Yeah, like, because let's face it, they don't have any original ideas anymore.
Yeah. I would say if that is ever going to happen again, it would be in 2028.
Cool. So
what I would see being more likely, though, would be, you know, if we're going to get to that point, I could see them trying it again sooner than that if there was an actual military coup.
That's what I was going to joke about, because quite frankly, yeah. I think they lost a lot of the faith of the military with that little stunt.
They definitely have. If it got to that point, though, it sure wouldn't look like January 6th. If you have a military coup and the military has like basically deposed whatever the hell's going on at that point, they're not going to just let these people just run through Capitol Hill unaccosted.
No, it's kind of giving me, like, this whole incident gave me a little bit more respect for the military in the U.S. Because, quite frankly, the fact they had the patience to put up with that and they didn't do a coup afterwards blows my mind.
Yeah, it's telling for sure that there is. I mean, I guess maybe that's the benefit of how fucked our politics are, is that, there are strong proponents on both sides of the aisle, strong Democrat proponents, strong Republican proponents, but there are way more people who are just so tired of this shit that they don't care. They just want to be left alone fundamentally, regardless of what that actually looks like.
Yeah. I think it's a real disservice that the 24-hour news cycle and like all this team isms has done to like the career politicians or political figures.
Mm-hmm. It is definitely the cracks are showing, right? I think that's the most succinct way to put it. And you have the whole Republican media circuit running overtime trying to pin this shutdown on the Democrats somehow. But surprisingly, I'll be honest, I'm surprised to hear it. On average, people aren't buying it. The opinion polls are squarely placing like 3-1. I think it's more like 65% are saying that either Trump or Republican leaders in Congress are the ones responsible for the shutdown in their mind. So the rampant propaganda on, this is the Democrats doing this, like it's still up on the fucking whitehouse.gov website. After Democrat leaders rejected a clean continuing resolution, it wasn't. They're lying. It's pretty paper thin how they're trying to go about this, and thankfully people are seeing through that paper. It's better than has happened on average up till now. So finding the silver linings, right? And we kind of had it come to a head earlier this week where I believe it's the governor of Oklahoma, who is like the chair or the president of some governors association, came out and gave a statement specifically talking about how the Texas National Guard has been deployed to Chicago now, and speaking specifically about how unprecedented it is and drawing parallels to how he would feel in his state or how Texas would feel in theirs if the Illinois National Guard was deployed to their states. They would pretty rightfully be up in arms over it. They would be pissed. And it is not right for that to be happening now. Just because the Republicans happen to be the ones in power. It's still wrong. And that is a pretty major ideological break. There's clearly a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, there are still people in positions of meaningful power that are not ascribing to the idea that Trump is king.
Good on them, honestly.
And yeah, absolutely. It would have been nice to have this a year ago, but better late than never. The other one that we had this week was from Congressman Swalwell, I believe, who is a Democrat from California, that put out a vague-ish but not quite statement about the chances of the Epstein file motions actually getting through Congress right now. And the big piece on that is that there's an Arizona special election that a Democrat won that gives the Democrats, along with the 4 or 5 Republicans who have signed on to their motion to release these Epstein files, it gives them the numbers that they need to actually do that on their own. The only thing that is preventing it right now is that the Speaker of the House, Johnson, keeps canceling their sessions, because the first thing that would happen during one of those sessions would be the swearing in of this Democrat senator that would cause that majority to happen. He's refusing to have her get signed in, and it's pretty wild to see it happening 2 weeks in a row now, because that means that the government shutdown keeps happening. If they're going to keep closing the government for the next week and they keep doing this, that means that the government's not going to get a budget passed either. So, but the thing from Swalwell was that because they have this one extra vote now that pushes things over the edge, they apparently have not necessarily a commitment, but they've been talking with a bunch of Republicans now that this has happened, and they are of the strong belief that they're at the point now where the next time a vote comes up, it's gonna be overwhelming. that there's going to be 50, 100 people breaking rank on the Republican side because they know this is going to pass anyways, and they don't want their name in the no column when they get asked, do you want to release the pedophile papers?
The pedophile paper. I like that. That's very good. I've always heard people call them the PDF files.
Yeah, I am very tired of that. I thought that was cute for a little while. It was a fun little pun, but the what I can only think to call is like TikTok-isms, I really fucking hate them.
That might be it.
Words have meaning. You're allowed to use words.
I'll give you this. I've only heard it called that like 3 or 4 times. But I say fuck off TikTok. I say fuck off a lot of shit.
I do too. I put the whole PDF file thing in the same bucket as people who are like unalive. Okay, and that one I know is very specifically one that started on TikTok because if you said the word like kill or murder or killed, you would get your video like reduced circulation because TikTok.
To our YouTube overlords, I hope.
Yeah, and to be clear, while we're mentioning it, YouTube is often just as bad when it comes to borderline censorship of things like that.
I hope this fucking kills our goddamn algorithm numbers, you low-life scumbags in YouTube. Fucking suck my dick. I can't wait for the angry parent comments on this one. And that's like not outside parents, but because my dad listens to this, I know he's going to hate my fucking potty mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, government's still shut down. What else has been happening? Major ICE activity in Chicago and Portland this week, including National Guard deployments.
My question,
God. Yeah.
Why is he bullying Chicago when New York's the one that has the big fucking election right now?
Because he doesn't like black people, and he still has to live in Chicago. I mean, that's seriously it. I guarantee if he didn't live in Chicago, if he actually just lived in Florida now, he'd do it in New York. Or sorry, if he didn't live in New York, he would do it in New York. But he still has buildings there. He still has to walk around there. And who the fuck wants to walk around anywhere where there's a bunch of ICE assholes harassing people at random?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like, we had this clip last week of some guy on a scooter on, like, Michigan Avenue in Chicago, and there's a bunch of ICE dickheads just standing around, and he just drives by and basically says, you guys are a bunch of dickheads. And when he does that, he accidentally drops his phone or something, so he has to circle back to grab his phone, and then all the ICE guys try to grab him for no reason, and he just bikes away, and they're so out of shape that they can't get this one guy on a shitty scooter.
That's funny.
It's incredible. And it's also incredible because, like, the guy didn't do anything. He didn't touch him. He didn't do anything. He just called them a dick. And that was enough that they were going to arrest this guy for literally nothing. So, yeah. Things have been extremely concerning, I think, is the fair way to describe it. The good news of this is that I guess all of this activity keeps the other side of this in the news, which is that there are people strongly, peacefully resisting all of this ICE bullshit. They're making their lives annoying. And I think that is the best possible way to go about this. And especially these guys in Portland, what an amazingly current year way to non-violently protest than to just make these guys look like the biggest idiots. It's really kind of beautiful.
You know, question.
Yeah.
With the government being shut down at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are ICE agents even getting their pay right now?
I'm sure they're figuring out some way to pay for that at the expense of something else.
That's fine. I get it. I was just wondering because, like, I don't know any ICE agents, but like from what I've gathered from context clues, they don't strike me as the kind of people that would necessarily do work for free.
Oh, absolutely not. Like at this point right now, they are scraping the bottom of the barrel so much that the only people who are doing this job are people who want the money, who don't care about doing atrocious things because the money is good enough, and people who are just too dumb but evil enough to want to do it anyways. There has been some a handful of things because there's like clips going on every single day, right? Because this is constant. But there is a couple of good ones that have been going around. A couple, not necessarily good, interesting ones that have been going around. And one of them was a photograph that was taken of some ice guy with like a pepperball paintball type gun who was sticking it out of the window of his SUV as he was driving by. And his face, you can only see his eyes, but he is clearly shitting himself terrified. And I don't know if that is because so many of these guys are like, you know, true believer types that even though they're standing there in Chicago and in Portland, they're still somehow convinced of the obvious lies that are going around from like Fox News and from the government, and they genuinely think they're about to be killed at any moment. Or if they're just so far over their heads doing this for the money that they're just like skin of their teeth trying to get through this kind of shit. But either way, people who are in that kind of a headspace aren't going to be doing their best work. These people are bad at their jobs to start with and making mistakes because they are chicken shits and scared.
Damn. Cairo's address, by the way, is...
Wait, I can do it real quick. One sec. It is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and Northwest Washington, D.C., 2500.
Oh, damn.
Send all complaints and hate mail to there, and I promise you it will be gotten to immediately.
It scares me how fast you are willing to give out your actual address.
I know. You know, I'm an open book. In the spirit of Charlie Kirk and open conversation, right? That's what the right wants, is open debate and conversation.
You heard it, people. Get this liberal.
2500 Pennsylvania Avenue. So the point on Portland, though, the way that they've been going about their protests by just buying up all of these inflatable costumes and just fucking around on the sidewalk outside this ice facility is beautiful. It is so perfectly handled in the way that they're doing it, where they're just going out there in these fucking frog suits, twerking at ICE agents, and it's working. And every time you see footage of it, anytime you see real footage of what's happening in this place, you see one of these people who is dressed up like this, and it immediately discredits every single lie that has been told about this. We had our goddamn president talking about it's so dumb. It's so dumb. I don't even want to say. I'm okay. I'm gonna get the quote because it's so dumb that
I didn't realize that was
I
a
don't
fucking
want to.
quote.
I don't want to get it wrong. It was so stupid.
I'm excited now. I'm bouncing in my seat. I can't wait for this.
This is a direct quote from our fucking president yesterday, okay? This is after weeks of this shit that's been going on. We have footage literally every day and every night of these people going out there in literal costumes making fun of these people. They've been talking about war ravaged and fires, and you can go out there and go to the goddamn farmers markets and see that it is not in fucking Portland. So our president, quote, Portland, Oregon. Every time I look at that place, it's burning down. There's fires all over the place. When a store owner, and there are very few of them left, when a store owner rebuilds a store, they build it out of plywood. They don't put up storefronts anymore. They just put up wood because they know it's going to be ripped down. Then I hear how wonderful it is. It's not wonderful. It's a disaster. That's almost an insurrection.
Mr. Kyrol.
Yes.
The president said that much slower and with like less breath.
You're right. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And then nobody calls him out on this in person because they want to come back the next day and listen to this bullshit. How the hell? I mean, I know how the hell. I say this rhetorically. How the hell is there not a single person in that room to just get like, hey, question, what the fuck are you talking about?
Are they eating the cats?
Yeah, apparently not anymore.
What the fuck? They can afford good plywood, but they're too good to eat cats?
It's so fucking stupid. And I heard a really good explanation for why Trump is saying this stuff. I don't know if you've heard this, but the best reason that I've heard as to why Trump thinks this is, one, because Fox News is lying constantly, and he watches Fox News constantly.
Yes.
The other part of it, though, is that he's a 79 fucking year old geriatric, borderline dementia guy, right? All of the AI Facebook shit that shows Portland on fire that's AI and fake, he probably believes.
So can we get like some AI photos of him and Epstein just like hanging out?
Thankfully, we don't need AI for that.
Can we get
got a
one with, like, an AI
whole treasure
just
trove of them.
Giving them like a little pick on the cheek?
We actually almost have that.
We?
It's not quite, but there's that one pretty iconic photo of Trump like talking into Epstein's ear, and
yeah.
I bet you could AI that real easy into something else.
We don't live in reality. You know, I thought
it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't feel like it.
When you've been doing this for 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, you start worrying that you're going to get boring. You're going to become like the most stagnated thing. So there's no way you can just commentate or find new opinions. These aren't even new opinions at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong, but you gotta like. You still somehow get reactions to this shit, even though you're so used to it.
Yeah. And I think that is an important part of this, is to not feel numb about it. To continue to remember that this isn't normal and it wasn't always like this.
Joe Biden was president like 3 years ago, right? And that shit was boring.
He was president 9 months ago.
Yeah, but dude, you gotta go a little further. You gotta get that brain rots. Like,
sure.
This shit was more boring 9 months ago. You know, actually,
did you hear the latest nobody remembers anything piece from our president today?
Please tell me more, because I'm getting like some numbers real quick.
The latest on the January 6th insurrection, which, as a reminder, happened on January 6, 2021, apparently, from our government, is that they have evidence that on January 6th, there was 274 FBI agents antagonizing and provoking that crowd into the reaction that happened. 274 FBI agents under the direction of the government doing that. Who was the president on January 6, 2021?
I know.
You in front.
That was a Mr. Donnie J. Trump.
Correct. It was. How possible do you think it is? I've been going back and forth on this because I don't know. Like, on the one hand, it's obviously a lie, just with the FBI agent's part. Just on its face, it's a lie. I wonder, though, if Trump has convinced himself at this point that he wasn't president during January 6th.
Well, he probably... Okay, the moment he lost the election, that's when he probably stopped considering himself president. I think that's
You're probably not wrong.
A mens verbum, like getting in Donnie's head real quick.
I could totally see that.
Yeah. Okay, so hear me out, right? Looking at this shit, I've got our show numbers right here, right? Would you believe me if I told you, out of our top 5 episodes, the majority of them, the most views, where we're talking about the most absurd shit, during Donnie's presidencies?
I'm not surprised. It turns out people are fucking boring usually.
So the only thing that breaks that pattern, right, is when the fucking, I guess it was one of our Oscar episodes, because I'm seeing a lot of Oscars here. The unhinged Pure Michigan ad where we did that skit.
Yeah.
And then the Glass Onion episode, which was just before Donnie took the seat again.
Mm-hmm.
Life is weird.
It certainly is. Last piece I wanted to mention on the ICE stuff is that at the Broadview ICE facility outside Chicago in Illinois, there is a pastor who is praying towards a pair of ICE agents on the rooftop of one of their buildings, and the response of those ICE agents was to, according to this pastor, laugh at him and then proceed to shoot him in the face with a pepper ball at about a 15-foot range. There is extremely clear footage of this that has been circulating this week. It is, like, on its face, indefensible, but beyond that, it is just so emblematic of everything that has been going on. It really is. There's been so many things like that have been happening. There's a WGN reporter local to Chicago who was arrested for literally nothing this week by ICE agents because they just didn't like her. There was a person who had an ICE agent shoot into their car and shoot them. ICE claimed that they were doing a road rage or something and that justified it, but we have footage now that shows that ICE instigated the whole thing. They just had a temper tantrum, and they have the body cam footage. And what's going to happen to that? Who fucking knows? Probably nothing. There was a couple who were, again, outside this Broadview facility who were carrying firearms. They were arrested for carrying firearms. That's not a crime. They tried to stick these people with some sort of grand jury charges, and the grand jury told them to piss off, that none of the charges they were trying to stick were good enough. That's something that I think we're going to have to come back to, not this week because we got plenty other stuff to get to, but there is such a wild trend of Trump's lawyers trying to secure indictments against people at grand juries and failing. There used to be a saying in legal spaces that places like Legal Eagle have talked about plenty of times about the whole idea that a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. And I guess, thankfully, we're seeing that that's not the case, that you do actually have to have the barest minimum of a case to present to a grand jury for them to go along with the bullshit. It's kind of, it is genuinely unprecedented, the number of cases that Trump administration lawyers have been presenting to grand juries and have been turned away with the grand jury refusing to indict the person that they brought. So, last piece of quote unquote real news for this week before we get into some other stuff. I'm still having a hard time believing that. So I guess one more quick aside. This is coming in the same week that the Treasury of the United States announced that they did a $20 billion credit swap to bail out Argentina's failing economy. They claim it isn't that. It is that. If you look at the details of what happened, the U.S. basically bought $20 billion of Argentina's currency, which at this point is effectively worthless. So they basically just gave Argentina $20 billion so that their government wouldn't collapse. And they did that because the president of Argentina is a libertarian, just genuine psychopath. And their government's on the verge of collapsing. And then when the Argentina government collapses, that looks bad because they're libertarians. And hey, what do you know? Libertarian governments never actually work.
Snake is cool. Snake is cool. Don't.
Oh yeah. No snap on stack.
No snap on snake.
The real banger to end out the week, though, comes from our good friend Secretary Hegseth. I guess I'm just going to read this. Quote, I am proud that today we're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Ameri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho.
Dude.
The U.S. government is going to build a Qatar government Air Force base on U.S. soil.
We are going to stop being a world superpower in the 2030s, and it's going to be the Middle East at this point.
I'm not sure about the second part of that. I think we kind of already stopped being a superpower.
Okay, I'll agree to you on that.
Yeah. Not sure anybody's... I mean, like, okay. If I'm having to put a name out there, I think it's probably going to be China.
Well, duh. China, definitely.
I think their economy is just already of the scale that they can maintain that illusion long enough that they can sort of outlast this. Because the Qatar and Saudi Arabia are trying to do this, like, whitewashing, greenwashing, sports washing stuff constantly. And it's kind of working. It's not really all that effective, though. The average response has been just kind of like, I didn't care already, so I don't care anymore. It doesn't scream to me the kind of things that build world power. They're not doing this with other important countries in the same way that, like, China did with the China-Korea-Japan Accord that they had earlier this year.
Okay.
Or BRICS.
That's good perspective.
Yeah. Qatari Ameri Air Force facility in Idaho. I'm sure the people of Idaho will be very happy to host that. They're so well known for being gracious and welcoming to foreigners.
How racist is Idaho?
Like, they're not the worst, to be clear.
Idaho, capital Sun. Idaho's not immune from racism. Department of Justice, Idaho hate crimes. r/Idaho, why the racism? Boise
That's
State
a good one.
Scholarly Works, Idaho grapples with its racist reputation. This is an actual Google search I'm doing, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That all lines up.
Why Idaho? I mean, I get it. No one gives a fuck about Idaho, but why Idaho?
Yeah. I imagine that is why. Almost all of what this government has been doing is done very intentionally to minimize the people that they don't want impacted by this, right? Idaho is, I believe, not the smallest, but like bottom 10, relatively small population. They're looking for someplace that already has an airbase because they're building it onto an existing one. And they don't want to put it in Texas or Alabama or Mississippi or Florida because that risks alienating a significantly larger group of their voting base.
For decades, Idaho was home to the Aryan Nations compound in Kootenai County, making it a hub for white supremacist and neo-Nazi activity. Though the group was bankrupted and compound demolished in 2001, its legacy of bigotry and extremism has been difficult to erase completely from the state's reputation. Y'all can't see it, but I'm staring directly at the camera.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to talk about other stuff? I think I'd like to talk about other stuff.
Someone else must suffer.
I want to run through some movies here because we have one particularly notable one. And then a couple other ones to run through here. It's actually just two other ones to run through really quick here. So, first on the list, A House of Dynamite, out this weekend. Is it out this weekend or is it just getting limited release? Oh, it's a streaming movie, so it's got a limited theatrical release. That's why nobody has seen it other than critics yet. Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson. Where's the synopsis here? That's a terrible synopsis. I'm going to find a better synopsis. I wish Rotten Tomatoes had better standards for that. I always find that really disappointing when you go to like read the plot synopsis and it just doesn't have one, or it has something like in this case that it's just glazing the director.
I never thought about it that way, but you're absolutely fucking right.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Fort Greely, Alaska, Major Daniel Gonzalez and his team noticed an unidentified intercontinental ballistic missile in the air, one whose launch has gone undetected. Initially believing it to be a test, they soon realized the missile was a real threat and inbound towards the United States. Captain Olivia Walker was at the White House monitoring threats to her country. Her team is notified of the ICBM launch and quickly scramble into action. Walker and her team figure out they have 18 minutes until the ICBM makes contact with Chicago, killing millions. While on a video call with the president and other higher-ranking officials, Walker fields several calls from other countries while her team rapidly begins to panic. Anti-ballistics are launched by Gonzalez's team, but they miss. Meanwhile, FEMA official Kathy Rogers is evacuated to a government bunker, much to her colleagues' anger, while the Deputy National Security Advisor joins the video call and urges the president not to retaliate. As the missile is moments away from impact, a White House official asks Walker to gather the names of her team in case Washington, D.C. is hit next. The president is played by Idris Elba, so I'm going to go with no.
Damn. I was going to say, Donald Trump made this movie by popping in a couple prompts into Chat GPT, you're correct?
Could have fooled me.
It has all the buzzwords.
Especially with it being Chicago.
Yeah, dude, that's what impressed me. The fact that it's fucking Chicago, the president's nemesis at the moment. Our second largest city, I think it's like fourth or third. I don't know. Regardless. Why doesn't the president hate Los Angeles?
Sorry, what was that?
I was just asking why the president doesn't hate Los Angeles.
Oh, he does.
Okay. Thank God.
He sent the National Guard there earlier this year.
Oh, fuck me. That was this year.
Yeah. That was like 3 months ago.
It's been a very painful year, ladies and gentlemen.
Hasn't it? So yeah, House of Dynamite, 84% from critics, no from audiences yet. But sounds fine. Eh? A race begins to determine who is responsible and how to respond. I guess the whole House of Dynamite thing is like, do they retaliate or not?
No.
No, they don't retaliate?
Nope.
Okay. Well, movie done. There you go.
Done. Yeah.
You can skip that one. Our next one is Kiss of the Spider-Woman. I had to do a double take on this one because I thought that I had heard about it, and then I was seeing the pictures of it, and I was just like, is that right? This doesn't look like one I had heard of. And then I got further into it, and it's like, oh yeah, no, this is some movie with Diego Luna in it. It's Diego Luna, Jennifer Lopez. It's like, what the hell is this? So it's a movie musical starring Diego Luna, a political prisoner who shares a cell with a window dresser convicted of public indecency. The two form an unlikely bond as the window dresser Melina recounts the plot of a Hollywood musical starring his favorite silver screen diva, based on a Tony Award-winning Broadway musical.
Speaking of musicals, I saw Fiddler on the Roof recently.
Oh yeah?
Beautiful, beautiful music. I did not really care for anything else. Actually, no. It was like a slow burn plot for me now that I think about it. Anyway, do you think it's going to do well on the merits of being a musical?
Probably not. 77% from critics right now, 66% from audiences, which is also already kind of middling. I would be much more willing to bet that if this does succeed, it's going to be off the back that it has Jennifer Lopez in it at all as a lead.
Oh, you're right.
Last, and kind of least, we have Tron Ares. What do you even call this? I mean, it is technically a sequel, but it's the sequel to a sequel. I feel like we need a new word for that.
Threequel.
Threequel? Nah, I don't like that. I veto it.
Sequel once removed.
Sure, whatever.
It's Tron Ares, dude.
I don't know.
Don't put that much thought into it.
No, I know. I don't necessarily mean for this movie. I just mean in general. It would be nice to have a shorthand to describe like a movie that is a sequel to something else, but not in a way that the original movie intended. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I don't understand. Like we talked about this earlier. We've had a whole fucking philosophical discussion about this movie before the show.
We have.
Why is this a Tron movie?
Yeah, and why is this movie? That's what I want to know. Why is this movie?
That's a good question.
It's such a bizarre decision making that led to its being made. It's kind of fascinating to see just what all has been happening here. To get the numbers out of the way, it's currently sitting at a 56% from critics and an 87% from audiences, but the audience scores are still very limited at this point.
Because no one wants to see the damn thing.
The critical consensus seems to broadly be that it is visually very much like you would expect and that it has a good soundtrack, but that in terms of it being a movie, it is extremely empty. It is just insubstantial. Just some quotes here. I didn't care about anyone or anything at any point. What is this? They describe it as a pre-chewed pablum.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but pre-chewed is an interesting way to describe that. I quite like that.
There are just some adjectives that just hit harder than others.
Yeah. Nine Inch Nails music turns those scenes into great music videos stuck inside a mediocre, if not outright bad movie.
Yeah.
Here's another good one. The result is indistinguishable from the AI it nominally critiques. Empty slop poured into its audience's feed trough. Rarely does a major blockbuster rely so heavily on its composer to add any semblance of creative expression to such a lifeless corpse.
Perfect.
Yeah. So there is, like, at a very fundamental level, before we get into the other stuff, it's just not a good movie. It's maybe fine. It's got okay music. It's just not great to start with. The other problem that it has is that the lead is played by Jared Leto, who is a problematic individual, to say the very least.
Can I propose
One of the
something?
Yeah.
This movie was made by a game of Mad Libs.
I am not sure about that.
You don't think so? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it is to a degree in that, because we were talking about the idea of like you mentioned How to Train Your Dragon. I was talking about Cowboys and Aliens. The idea of when you get writers or directors who have an idea for a movie that they want to make, but that they either don't think it's strong enough on its own or they get rejected for it in the past, they repropose it at a later date by tying it into some broader franchise in order to get their idea off the ground through the veneer of that franchise. I think in that way, I could see it being kind of that, in that sense, where they had a script or an idea of a script, and they sort of Mad Libsed that script to put the right buzzwords in there to make it Tron enough.
Fair. I will give you that.
Yeah.
So can we actually just go over this real quick? Kyril, what is the premise of Tron? As a residential Tron scholar, don't worry, I will fill in everybody just so they know why Tron doesn't work.
So of this movie or the original Tron?
What is Tron as a franchise?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I know.
Like I could probably string something together, but like My interpretation of Tron has always been that it has been like a medium for a vibe.
Yeah, that's what works about Tron. It is.
Yeah.
It is an excuse for feature-length music videos.
Yeah, and middling CGI that people are trying really hard to make work.
I argue the original Tron still looks beautiful. In fact, that's the thumbnail.
It is remarkable what they were able to do with it.
Tron is 4 or 5 good ideas, right? And then they just don't work when you try applying them to anything. But they're still cool on their own.
And you know what they especially don't work with?
Jared Lowe.
No, when you take Tron and try to put it in the real world.
Yeah.
That part of it on its own is such a fundamental misunderstanding of why Tron works. It works because it is an interpretation of something that is intangible for us. We don't know what the inside of a computer looks like. Even in like a very literal sense, we can imagine that, it's sand, right? It probably doesn't look like anything other than molecules of sand. But it is evocative to imagine that those processes and the electrons and the things that are happening in a physical sense. It doesn't work the other way. We know what our world looks like. We have computers, we have machines, we know how they interact with our world. So trying to have the Tron name stapled onto that just completely falls apart. It misses the point of either of the prior movies.
Tron is a personification of what originally was more primitive technology back in the day. But now I think, I don't know, shit is way too unironic for Tron to be taken genuinely now. Kyril, you brought up this amazing article beforehand about how this movie is propaganda for AI.
Great piece from Slate writer Sam Adams. We were very amused at how the title has changed since, where the original title of it was I think I lost it. It's something like the one of our oldest sci-fi franchises is back. The new movie is woefully inadequate or something like that. They have since just changed the title of this article to "The new Tron movie is pro-AI propaganda," and they make a really compelling argument for it. I love their perspective on it, how the first and second Tron movies are reflective of the nature of the Silicon Valley as it existed at that time. To quote from the piece, if the first Tron is defined by the singular figure of the Silicon Valley upstart and the second by the communitarian ethos of the open source movement, the new Tron Ares belongs entirely to tech CEOs eras. Its characters aren't coders, but captains of industry. And then it talks about who they are. Rather than the boundless universe of the grid, most of the movie's story, or at least the digital part, take place in a walled sandbox created by the defense contractor, whose internal world is militaristic dystopia.
It is this really, I think, apt way of looking at Tron as a franchise.
Yeah. Maybe one could argue, in the same way that the newest Matrix movie is not a good Matrix movie, but is an accurate reflection of what the Matrix would look like today if you were able to make it using the same philosophy as it was originally made, in the way that who it critiques, why it was made the way it is, why it looks the way it is. The end product isn't entertaining as much as the others per se, but it is true.
Yeah.
In that way, this Tron movie isn't necessarily particularly good, but it is accurately showing these tech figures from their own perspective in the same way that the earlier movies did. It just happens to be that these tech figures 45 years ago were the underdogs, and now they own everything, and their perspective is so skewed that you end up with this output that is completely divorced from the understanding of what made the originals.
It's kind of interesting to me to kind of go through these movies and look at like the one character that's consistent in all these movies, right? Kevin Flynn, Jeff Bridges' character. In the original, he's a coder who has his work plagiarized and stolen and taken by a scrappier company. And the whole movie's about him, getting his work back. Interesting. It is the underdog narrative, right? Second movie is about, again, his world collapsing because he's superseded by his own vision. There's a second Jeff Bridges in Legacy, by the way. Did you know that? In which that he, as the scrappy underdog, is misplaced by someone who is more administrative. And now in this one, he is basically God, separated from the narrative of the techno-capitalistic reality we live in.
The way that Bridges' character is portrayed very much reminds me of the way people treat like Steve Jobs, where you have the start where they are railing against the tech spaces to try and make something new and useful. So in the original Tron, that's the singular idea of one programmer who is trying to change things for the better. And then in the second one, you're at the point where Apple is this monolithic giant, and you have to have the sort of the offspring of Apple coming in to try and break that up, because they've gotten too big for themselves to operate. And now that monolith is so established that it's taken on almost a religious tone at times.
Yeah, because literally, he's God in this movie. The whole point of the movie is Jared Leto only has 29 minutes to live. Nice. But he wants to live longer than 29 minutes. So in order to prevent him from dying and getting rebuilt constantly, he has to go find this permanence code. And the only person in the whole fucking world is God, played by Jeff Bridges, that can provide that to him.
I find it so fascinating too, because maybe I'm misunderstanding something, but isn't the whole idea that this permanence code exists in the real world? They're going into the real world to find it, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. Let me skim through the Wikipedia plot summary.
Because where they find it is in the original grid from Tron 1, which is fucking stupid. People, a code that can make a fucking 3D printed human permanent would not be able to run on a fucking DOS system from the 80s.
So I'm trying to skim here, because it seems like they find the code originally that way, but then that version of it gets destroyed and they have to do something else. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care enough to figure it out right now. Yeah.
It's Tron. It's a Tron movie without Tron. Tron is not in this movie. The character Tron, that the whole franchise is named after, who's not even a main character in his own original goddamn movie. He's a sidekick in that movie to Jeff Bridges. So, how do you make a Tron movie without Tron?
Yeah. Doesn't work.
Tron is not interesting as a character. Tron as a franchise only has 4 or 5 cool things in it. All of them are not Tron.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the thing that makes this whole saga not really make sense. I'm curious. Let me look up Tron Legacy real quick, because I don't have that one pulled up. I guess all of the Tron movies up to now have been marginally profitable. They're not losing money, I guess, but they're not going crazy either. Why Tron for this? What's going on? It's a very weird choice.
And every time they've tried making a Tron movie, it just comes out as a little, I don't know, something is put into these movies, and it's not passion. I don't know what it is. Maybe Disney dollars?
Yeah. It is Disney dollars, exclusively Disney dollars. Like, aside from what you're saying, I looked up the funding for it, and the entirety of the funding for Tron Ares comes from either Walt Disney Pictures or Sean Bailey Productions, Sean Bailey being a former Disney executive.
That's so silly.
Yeah, it's very strange. And it's, I don't know. It's a sad indictment of today that the only way a science fiction movie seems to get made is as a prequel or a sequel or a spin-off of something that came before it.
Right?
That's just not how science fiction works.
I think we need, like, an anthology thing bad. Like, something along the lines of, like, I don't know, Twilight Zone. I just want somewhere where new ideas can be played with in a safe environment without being turned into a fucking franchise.
Yeah. We have gotten that a little bit with Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It's close. It's a little bit more... It's a little bit too horror-centric for my taste. Because when you're forced to start with that lens, it really limits what your options are ultimately. But I think that's the closest that we have today.
So hear me out, right? I know we got many big fans out there. Netflix and Mr. Tron. I want a Black Mirror Tron. Give me a collab between these two. I don't care how you do it. I don't know how many Disney dollars you need. But I could deal with a horror Tron.
That would at least be an interesting idea. Like, yeah. I can imagine something where, you know, there is some piece of code that was put into the mainframe of the original Tron world, right? That somebody has to go into the Tron world to try to find because they think it's going to do something. It's a MacGuffin. It doesn't really matter what it actually does. But have the sort of fundamental, you know, the plot of it be centered around the idea of this old mainframe sort of like literally rotting, where the data is getting corrupted and the people who live in it from the original are being corrupted as well. And then you use that as the sort of horror angle to go from. I can see that. I can see that being quite good.
Yeah. No, in fact, you know, Disney, just give us the money. We'll make Tron 4.
Just give us the money. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
What stupid subtitle we're going to give our Tron movie? Tron Schmoes? Tron Corruption. There you go.
Isn't it funny that this movie was so... Because, like, it's obviously not the craziest idea, right, to go colon subtitle, but the only reason that Tron Legacy is called that is because the movie centers around the grandson of the original guy. That's it. That's why it's called Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
That they took that exact same... Yeah, but then they took that exact same title format, Tron colon thing... I assume because they did it once already, and this doesn't work. Give it a different name. Don't name it after the guy.
Ares, a Tron movie. Oh, fucking hell.
I like it. You hear this, Disney? We're on your side. Come on.
What we want is for the Walt Disney Company to become the Walt Schmoes Company. Our terms are pretty solid, right? You get 49% of the show. We get funding from you. And we also get to take a little fucking labeler. And we get to take the Disney name off Walt's grave. And just put Schmo there instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good deal.
It's such a fucking good deal. Also, we're going to take that Mickey and Walt statue off Main Street at the parks.
Mm-hmm.
hear me out, Kyril, right?
Yeah, no, I'm listening.
Yeah, we're going to take Walt off there specifically, and we're going to reimagine Walt for a new modern audience.
Okay.
And you know what I've realized?
So here's my question. Here's my first question.
Yeah.
You're taking Walt Disney, you're imagining him for a new audience. Do you go less Nazi or more Nazi?
I'm going for somewhere in the middle, actually.
Okay.
Because kids today...
How very centrist of you.
Kids today like the internet. And the internet has provided a new form of fascism.
Sorry, I'm just imagining this literal enlightened centrist just being like, more Nazi? No. Less Nazi? No. I think the middle is the way to go.
You see, what we need is ignorant kind of fascism. The Nazis were a little too well-oiled, if you ask me. I mean, look at their body counts, right? That is efficiency that kids today cannot get behind. Today, with our new reimagined Walt Disney, what we're going to... I'm sorry, I can't do the bit. I can't... The idea of pitching a redesigned Walt Disney. Like, Steve Jobs doing, like, an iPod presentation. Ugh, it kills me. It kills me. You see, we got Walt AI. What Walt AI will do is he will go on all the far-right podcasts to promote the Disney parks for the Disney Schmo brand. His first guest, in the first show he's going on is Joe Rogan. You may be wondering, Kyril, how is this substantial to our business model? Walt AI is going to steal the personality traits of every podcaster he talks with. He's going to fundamentally distill all the right fascism and ignorance out of all of them. So we're going to start with Joe Rogan. And until we have Walt complete his whole media tour, we won't put up the statue, and we'll see what form Walt AI takes afterwards. All this for only 49% of our company, which makes no money.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit.
We are nonprofit. We're nonprofit haters. Think about all the tax dollars, Disney, you'll get back. None. Do you see what talking about Jared Leto does to a man?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Jared Leto yet.
I don't want to talk about Jared Leto.
Nobody does.
I have to wonder.
That's probably the biggest crime of this movie is that they had to delay production because of writer strikes and like everything else. And then they didn't just recast Jared Leto as somebody who doesn't have credible allegations levied against him.
You know what pisses me off about this? This movie spits in the face of Tron lore.
Yeah.
In Tron lore, if you make a program, which is what the Tron people are called, the program looks exactly like its creator. And Jared Leto does not look like Evan Peters at all. Mm-hmm. Evan Peters would have been a better character for this movie. Because at least I can stomach looking at Evan Peters. It's also less fun to hate on Evan Peters. With his silly little name.
That's true.
Yeah.
I did see, I guess it's from a Deadline article, where people were asked as they were leaving the Tron movie why they went to see it. 47% said because it's a Tron movie. 41% because it's science fiction, 33% for the cool effects, a whole 14 because it has Leto in it. 14.
We can't allow them to breed.
But still, that's like, what, barely an eighth?
I think that's just
it's
one
not good.
Guy.
Yeah, one out of the 8
like
people.
A wig and like sunglasses. Hey guys, it's me, Jared Leto. Some guy. I went to go see Tron Ares because I heard Jared Leto was in it. And being the biggest Jared Leto fan, I just had to go see it. That's what I imagine Jared Leto sounds like. Have you seen that interview of Jared Leto saying how he's a big Tron fanboy?
Well, he put his money in this too, so I sure hope he is.
I'm going to Google right now, the biggest Tron fan. So I'm curious.
While you're doing that, there was I don't know if we quite call this breaking news, but CoffeeZilla in a second channel video posted a claim that somebody posted a $1.1 billion cryptocurrency short position just a minute before Trump's tariff announcement.
Why you say somebody as if you don't fucking know who it is?
Because I haven't watched the video yet, and I don't know who was implicated.
I'll give you like 5 hints. Is that how many kids Donnie has?
I think he has more than that.
Oh, never mind. However many hints Donnie, this number is Donnie's kids, whatever. Fuck. I'm saying it's probably like a Trump of one of the Trumps.
I'm not sure about that. I could see something like that, but I could just as well seeing it being like one of the not like. There's so many scumbags, right, in that circle.
So Bitcoin's not real. So where did that money come from?
I hate to tell you this, but all money is fake.
Well, at least I have Tron. At least I have Tron.
Tron coin. I bet Tron coin's a thing.
Tron disc. Because that's like a thing they do. It's like the little frisbees of death.
Yeah, Tron's a cryptocurrency.
Of course it is.
Decentralized, proof of stake, blockchain, smart contract, blah, blah, blah.
There's a Twitter account called Your Daily Dose of Tron.
How many people follow it?
1 second. 6,174.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah. 6,000?
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
It's not nothing either. Okay, here's a better question, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many of them are real people?
Well, yeah, exactly, right?
Ooh, that's a lot of blue check marks.
Ooh, wow. I think I found a little bit of a rabbit hole here. Would you like to hear about Tron Coin?
I was born ready to hear about Tron Coin.
So let's start with the casual garden variety plagiarism. In January 2018, via tweet, Juan Bennett, the CEO of Protocol Labs, revealed that the white paper of Tron copied portions of white papers from various other cryptocurrencies without a single reference. Researchers from Digital Asset Research discovered multiple instances of code copied from other projects in the Tron code database. It also accused them of violating the GNU Lesser General Public License because the project does not mention that its client was derived from Ethereum, a Java implementation of Ethereum. These accusations were denied by the Tron Foundation. In May of 2019, a report submitted through the bug bounty platform HackerOne revealed that just one computer could have brought Tron's entire blockchain to a halt. The revelation showed that a barrage of requests sent by a single PC could be used to squeeze the power of the blockchain CPU, overloading the memory, and perform a DDoS attack. Are you ready for the real spice?
Okay, I think I accidentally just connected with this.
Yeah.
Tron Guy? Tron Guy's involved?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, it seems so. So, do you remember the meme of Tron Guy?
I think so. Let me do a quick check for that. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I've been trying to find this fucker because I didn't know like how. I just remembered he existed. Mm-hmm. He's got his own website where he brags about being Tron Guy on the blockchain.
That is the same Tron cryptocurrency. Wow, that's a shitty AI picture.
Isn't it? So I found his X profile, by the way. Ham radio operator, mainframe geek, small town politician, a Mercedes aficionado, SF fan. I'm hoping that's Street Fighter. Budding author, unapologetically MAGA. Yes, I really am the Tron guy.
Oh no. I think my next part for this is still worse.
Go on, please.
In November of 2023, the Tron network was used by various terrorist organizations, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. The Tron DAO released a statement emphasizing their support for the UN stance against malicious actors in the blockchain space, but disputed the claim that Tron, Ethereum, or similar decentralized protocols may exercise direct control over those who leverage this open source technology.
Tron Guy, why?
Further, according to a 2025 article in the Wall Street Journal, it was stated, quote, more than half of all illegal crypto activity, some $26 billion, passed through the Tron network. The Wall Street Journal described it as a popular channel for crypto criminals' fraternity to move funds. In 2024, the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime described the Tron network as a preferred choice for crypto money launderers in the Asian region.
Tron Guy, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So yeah, drugs, money laundering, literal Islamic terrorism.
Everybody, I need you to understand what Tron Guy looks like. 1 second. I'm going to update our thumbnail as we're doing this, actually. Because he is the most guy of all time. And the idea of him supporting terrorist organizations through his shitcoin is sending me right now. There we go. If you're watching the video, Tron Man is now on. There we go. You know what's upsetting me, Kyril?
What's that?
I'm on his Twitter, his shitter, if you will. And
yeah,
there's no mention of Tron fucking Ares on here.
What a fraud.
What a fucking fraud. Tron Guy, I know you're listening. Come on the show. We'll talk Tron.
Actually, maybe not, because it sounds like you're kind of a MAGA asshole.
If we can get him to admit to crimes, I'll
well, I mean, we're not gonna, though. That's not how it works. Like, the Tron coin people have already been like, it's a decentralized cryptocurrency. It's not under our control.
He's got a Wikipedia page, by the way.
Yeah, I found the Wikipedia page, yeah.
Yeah, nothing of note. He kind of fell off the earth in 2015.
Yeah, who would have guessed that a guy from one random meme is not relevant in 2025?
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, the fact that we just discovered, like, all this bullshit and it's connected to fucking Tron Guy of all places?
Mm-hmm.
Why did Disney release this if they're fucking... Do you think they did this to try and get the IP, like, away from that brand?
I don't know. I don't think they're that smart. That clever. I think they just know they have the Tron license, and all they know right now is doing remakes, it seems.
Okay, here's a better question. Who is more cancerous to the Tron brand? Tron Guy in this crypto shit, or Jared Leto?
Jared Leto by far.
It really is, because you just discovered all this bullshit. Anything else for the show today, Kyril? Because I'm just...
I think that's all I have. I think that's all I have the energy for.
Dude, like... all of this is just overwhelming. Remember when he was on Tosh.0?
Oh god, I didn't even remember Tosh.0 till you said that.
Yeah, it's so weird how this is just kind of sending me down an old internet rabbit hole. This stuff should have stayed dead, by the way. I know
Yes.
we love to nostalgia, what's the word I'm looking for? Reminisce fondly on the old internet, but the shit is bullshit. And a lot of the shit that crossed over to today is still bullshit. We should have burned the internet down. And then replaced it with just like the cat dance at the end of it. You know that one, Carl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cat. I'm a cat. I dance, I dance, I dance, I dance. I'm Miss Orion. Happy 10 years of mediocrity coming up soon.
And I'm Cairo. And I'm also a Schmo.
And I'm gonna go fucking get a prostate exam or something. I'm fucking old. I'm too old for this shit.